about your question about influencing behavior, you can absolutely do it. There's a whole science behind it. And be careful when you read about this science. So the first thing I would suggest is taking a look at, this video. Okay, I'm gonna send it in the chat.
And in the
this is extremely interesting. It's from so this is really a science, and it's if you want to read more about it, it's from Dan Shapiro, if I remember correctly. This is called the Science of Persuasion. Now, you can watch it and pay attention how there's 6 shortcuts in human behavior that people can use to influence our decisions. And it is a science. It is used, you can imagine, lawyers, salespeople, politicians are expert in this. Now, I don't like the fact that they probably use it unethically. But we as teachers can also use this ethically. Let me give you a few examples from our school how we did that. First things first, for example, this is an example that I love, and I'm sure it's going to speak to you if you have children. If you're teaching children, I'm sure you've noticed those parents that after a lesson practically hoard on their kids and go, no dawaj, говори. Занимаешь сегодня? Давай, говори. Ну, давай, говори по-английски. Давай, на английском, что-нибудь, давай. And they're pressuring their kid like that. We thought a long time about this with Tom, because the problem is that, number one, we know why the kid is not speaking, is not expressing themselves as much as they would with their teacher in class, because this kind of attitude is just overwhelming for a child when the mother or the father just expects results right now, say it. It can be very overwhelming. At the same time, it's very important for those parents, because parents judge our results. And those parents, it's very difficult to convince them that what they're doing is not the best way to hear their kids speaking English. So we tried to keep both basically happy. And what we came up with was, I'm very happy, the system works really well. We have a hot chocolate machine in our school, and hot chocolate is free. You can imagine how kids love that hot chocolate machine. Every lesson, they get themselves a hot chocolate. Now, the cups used to be right there by the coffee machine, by the hot chocolate machine, and kids could take a cup, pour themselves a hot chocolate themselves. We changed that. We put the cups at reception, and if you want a hot chocolate at English Connection, you should go to reception and ask for a cup in English. And just this simple measure that is very simple, very easy, and it's not, you see, we didn't make it into an awful rule. It's not something that is overwhelming the kids. The kids are so excited about the result that they don't notice the work they have to do to get the result they want. This is a simple influence of behavior that we made so that the kids in the school naturally have a reason to speak English before their parents force them to speak English. And of course, at the beginning, it was just, can I have a cup, please? Can I have a hot chocolate, please? But with time, the kids got into this atmosphere that at reception, even at reception, not just in the classroom, even at reception, they speak English, which the parents are happy with. It calms them down, they see results, and they don't overwhelm their children with, давай, говори, скажи что-нибудь. Давай. So this is an example of how we influence the behavior of our students in our school. Does it speak to you?
A lot.
Perfect. I highly recommend it. It's not. It's one example. If you describe more, I know Anna that you're a professor at university, so you have less freedom, I think, to influence your classroom, things like that. But if you can, we also started a system of. We designed specific posters and stickers. Posters are just there to constantly remind students of a very simple message. It's all about we expect the best from you. Students here perform amazingly at Olympiad. Just posters like that that set an atmosphere in the school, in the classroom. Students feel that at English Connection, you should work hard because there are high expectations of you. And we combine that with fun posters and things like that because we need to have both atmospheres in the class and in the school. There needs to be an atmosphere of fun, engagement. This is a comfortable place to be in. This is a cozy place to be in. This is a place where you want to go. And the sense of hard work, of achievement, because I highly believe that education should reward hard work. This is also an attitude and a behavior that our students need to get for the rest of their lives. So posters and stickers, they're very targeted at what you want your students, how you want them to behave. I highly recommend, check out the video that I put in the chat. It's called The Science of Persuasion. Watch that one especially because there are different ones with different kind of illustrations and things like that. That one I actually use when I do business trainings and things like that at companies and schools on this kind of thing. And I actually use this very video in those trainings. It's very well explained, very clear, very simple, and he gives 2 examples for each principle. And then you'll be able to think how you can use these principles in your classroom, in the homework that you give, things like that. All right? I'll note it down, actually. We can, if you want, we can have a follow-up on this at the next webinar. How about that? I send you, you have homework this week. You need to watch the Science of Persuasion video. And next webinar, we'll just start the webinar by thinking how we can use those principles of persuasion ethically. We're not lawyers, we're not politicians. Ethically in our classroom to influence the behavior of our students in a positive way. All right?
All right.
Awesome.
We agree.
Because I really love it. It's very interesting. It's psychology, basically. I'd like to move on to a second question that a few people sent me this week about, this might concern you. The people that asked are not here today,